Hey guys, what's up? This is Bret, Life on This Planet blog. Monday, October 15th, 2012. Normally I don't shoot any videos during the week or early in the week, but there's an interesting thread going on in the violin community tonight on YouTube, and I figure I would shoot a response to it. I was intrigued. One of those kinds of topics that I find interesting. And this thread was posed by a VC member named Greeno. What's up? And a few people already shot some responses, which I've been catching, and the premise is one and done, which basically means bands that just did one album and that was it. They were done. So on my blog a couple years ago I did a feature on really short-lived bands like Big Star and Joy Division that had a really short lifespan, but put out a little considerable amount of body of work in a short period of time. One of the bands that was featured is in this batch here, but for this topic, I'm doing just bands that had one album or one EP, and then that was it. Now, I kind of picked ones that came to my head immediately, and three of them are on CD because they were never released on vinyl, and so that was really the only way to approach these ones, but I wanted to make sure that they get mentioned. So I got five here. The first one is actually Pretty and Twisted, and I was just talking to I just left a comment on VC member Shannon Lightbreeze 55 about Pretty and Twisted. This was a one-off album from Jeanette Napolitano from Concrete Blonde with Mark Moreland from Wall of Voodoo, who's since passed away. But yeah, this came out in 1995 on Warner Brothers, and yeah, it was just one album. There's a notable cover of Roxy Music's Mother of Pearl on there, and yeah, just a cool record. I haven't given it. I need to really spin this one some more because it's been a long time, but excuse me, this gives me reason enough. My band Audra got to open for Jeanette Napolitano one time. It was really cool. That's that. The second one, these next two are kind of attached to one another. This one is Polar Bear. This is called Why Something Instead of Nothing. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Polar Bear, but this was a band fronted by Eric Avery of Jane's Addiction, and this came out, I believe, in 1999. It was funny when I picked this up at Amoeba in Hollywood. I went there and I went into the P section and I stuck my hand in there and I was like, wow, wouldn't that be great if I found Polar Bear? And I swear, I picked out a CD and it was this exact one, and it was like $5, and this is so super hard to find. So this was, like I said, it was a project of Eric Avery's post Jane's Addiction, and really interesting stuff, pretty experimental. Yeah. And the next one actually is connected to this one because immediately after Jane's Addiction broke up, well, not immediately after, but when Jane's Addiction broke up in 1991, Perry Farrell and Stephen Perkins went on to form Porno for Pyros, and then Eric Avery and Dave Navarro formed this this band, which was pretty much just a studio project because it's been 18 years and there's been nothing else, and I don't think there ever will be. This is Deconstruction. This was never released on vinyl either, and this was on American. You can see the little flag there. I remember this came out in 1994. I remember buying it immediately the day it came out. You can see the thing. There was a video for this on MTV. It aired a few times called LA Song. It was the opening track. It was really cool. Just a really interesting album, really interesting song structures. The songs were really good, and it's a shame that they didn't tour it. Dave Navarro joined Red Hot Chili Peppers just like right around the time this was released, and so it was pretty much done. But that's Deconstruction. All right, wow, and coincidentally, then we're tying into another Jane's Addiction release here. This is a really cool one. This is the one that immediately came to mind, because this band was from the LA music scene in the early 80s. They only released this one EP in 1985, and then that was it. This is SciComm. right around the time this 5-song EP was released, Perry Farrell, you can see the pictures there. Perry Farrell went and formed Jane's Addiction. So this was the reissue that was put out on XXX in 1994. You can see the limited edition number there. And this is really cool artwork. This is done by Bruce Leicher, Independent Project Press. Really unique packaging there. I'll see if I can get the vinyl. It's a 10-inch on clear vinyl there. Now I've shown this before and I've told stories about it before, but you know, if you guys are watching for the first time, I guess it doesn't hurt to tell it again. Back about the year before this came out, this SciComm was originally released in 1985. It was 12-inch. It had the same cover, but it was black with the white writing. Like I said, it was a 12-inch, and it was on the band's own label called Mohini Records, and it had that little symbol on it. Anyways, the original pressing was limited to only 1,500 copies in 1985. It's rumored that half of them were ruined, they were warped, so there were only around 750 of those left. I happened to come across, back in around 1993, a sealed copy. My friend and I bought it, and we at the time, we tortured over whether or not to open it and play it, because it was back then, pre-internet days. We didn't know what it sounded like. We were huge Jane's Addiction fans. So we opened it and dubbed it on a cassette. He has the vinyl. I still have the cassette they put on. So it was mind-blowing to hear that. And then a year later, then it was reissued on vinyl and CD. So I'm really happy to have this. It's incredible. This 5-song. If you can seek out this EP, it's just phenomenal, and it's SciComm, PSICOM, and just great. Aaron Schur is a friend of mine here on Facebook. A really nice guy, incredible drummer, and just really cool. It's interesting to hear Perry's voice on this one. It was just, he's singing a lower sound, and there's the music is almost like a early, like, Juju era Susie and the Banshees, with really early Gene Loves Jezebel, kind of tribal drums. Just really, the way it's recorded, it just sounds great. It's just a great piece of music. Lastly, this was an interesting one. As I was flipping through my records, I saw it and I was like, yep, this is the perfect one to show. When Suede kind of took a hiatus in like 2003, 2004, Bret Anderson, the singer, regrouped with Bernard Butler, who was the original guitar player in Suede, who quit after the recording of Dogman Star, their second album. But they actually reconnected and put on an album, and they created a band called The Tears. And this was their one and only album called Here Come the Tears. And I really happened to come across this out in a record shop and was really excited to see it, because the CD itself was hard to find, let alone the vinyl, and mine looks like it's it's numbered right there, 348. So really cool. This is a cool album. It's got, it sounds, it's got two of the guys from Suede, so it sounds a lot like Suede, and it's a cool release. If you haven't heard it or don't even know about it, and you like Suede, I'm sure you already know about it if you're a Suede fan. How could you not? But if you don't know about it, check this out. There was a couple 7-inch singles as well for a couple tracks on here, and there's some B-sides. But yeah, that's The Tears. Very cool. So anyways, cool thread idea, Greeno. I hope my picks were of some interest to some of you guys here. And yeah, I enjoyed watching some of your guys' videos. So looking forward to seeing some other ones. New subscribers, new viewers. Stick around. This Friday I'll be back with a new album feature on my Friday on the Turntable. So you guys have a good night. Talk to you soon.